watched the Bash Brothers Experience yet?
Yes.
I have.
No. What is that?
It's
unauthorized
The
Bash
Lonely
Brothers
Island thing on Netflix.
yeah.
No.
Oh, the Bash Brothers were like a 80s sort of power hitting duo in baseball. And there was like a whole thing like they didn't high five after they hit home runs, like they bashed their forearms together.
Yeah,
Hence
pretty
the
metal.
Bash Brothers. But there was like a lot of like they were sort of like a big cultural moment, and people loved them. And then later on, like there was all these sort of scandals around like the use of steroids, and then one of the two wrote like a tell-all book, and the other one's never sort of forgiven him.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like, but it's a whole like classic sort of sports thing. And the Lonely Island were like, well, what if these two guys, what if the Bash Brothers wrote an album of raps at the height of their fame? And they basically do that, and it's like super like surprisingly experimental.
Yeah.
And like arts,
Okay.
almost artsy. Like Akiva from Lonely Island directed it, and then the other two star in it. And it's like, yeah, it's surprisingly like
Good.
creative and inventive, and like visually interesting,
Like
and like
visually,
but with like classic Lonely Island raps.
It's like Lonely Island, but all the sort of cutaways remind you of a Terrence Malick movie.
Good lord.
It's like it's weird. It's like there's so much dissonance, but it still works.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's really great.
I will check it
and
out.
people,
And it's
people
only like
that
half an
actually-
hour.
for who the Bash Brothers were actually a thing, love it. Like their team, like they actually been playing the songs and like tweeting at them about how much they love it, and like
That's brilliant.
the original one of the players,
Jose Canseco.
yeah, the one that wrote the tell-all book, not the one that's angry. He apparently just fucking loved it, thought it was hilarious. Yeah, super good.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation for the
Cool.
week.
Thank you
Jason's
for
gonna paste this at
pre-recommending.
the-
Thanks
the-
for
the
listening
end.
to the CineBeards podcast.
Yeah, this was
That's
great.
been our one on weird, shitty movie science.
Yeah. Well,
I had fun.
hey, I've got an idea for weird, shitty movie science. How about we time travel and just do the podcast again?
Great.
That sounds like
Okay.
some shitty movie science.
All right.
Right?
Hello, welcome to the... Oh, wait, we need an intro thingy.
Okay.
Okay, cue the intro.
Intro music. Deal.
All right. It's the CineBeards. Baby, coming
Marcus, 'cause then I
at
have
you
to edit
from
it
the
out.
studio. CineBeards. CineBeards tonight.
Hello, and welcome to the CineBeards.
Tonight, apparently.
Well, look at the time.
Ha! Look at the
It's
time.
11 a.m. on Tuesday, which is when these episodes go live, Thomas.
Whoa! Oh, this is super awkward.
I am so insulted.
I would be insulted if
Yeah.
somebody called me Thomas.
I'm outsalted,
By whom?
Marcus.
Okay.
China, like,
Because
all the,
I'm not
all the
part of
jobs are
it,
going
so-
there, man.
Yeah.
You guys are the worst. Okay, let's talk about shitty movie science.
Okay, well, my one is definitely Jurassic Park. That's a film I would like to focus on for mine. Marcus?
That's weird, because Thomas told me that that's what his one was before we started, and you were in the room, and you didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, I thought he was just trying to troll me, because he knew that this is the one that I'd be focusing on. I just assumed it was some sort of sick joke. On
Well,
his part.
this is super awkward because, you know, my thing was actually Jurassic Park.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you and I discussed it beforehand that we would double-hander it,
Yeah.
and here Thomas is trying to steal our collective thunder.
That's really weird. I think you guys owe me a speedboat, because mine was also going to be Jurassic Park.
Bullshit!
What?
You're lying!
No, you're lying now.
Absolute shit.
Yeah, we don't believe
Well,
you.
Wow,
joke's on
we
you,
don't
because I don't
believe
care,
you.
because I was gonna do Fallen Kingdom.
Okay, you do that. Go.
Yeah.
It was bad. You guys.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good, but the science is bad.
Is when they point a gun at a guy and pull the trigger so that a dinosaur can go and attack him to kill him. When instead you could just put tiny metal objects in the gun, and when you pull the trigger, it hurls them at a fast enough speed that those will kill him.
At a speed so fast you can't even see it.
I mean, that'd be super efficient.
If only
but I
we
guess
had a
the
weapon like
technology's
that.
not there.
I love the fact that these, as we've pointed out before, these incredible genetic marvels and super science things like rare one-of-a-kinds are being sold for less money than footballers get
Yep.
traded for.
Less than
Well,
the
have
most
you seen how many
junior.
how many people footballers can kill in the field?
Those people are basically war criminals.
So yeah, and also the idea of like specifically genetically enhancing a velociraptor to the point where it is like an even more ultimate killing machine.
Yeah.
And then it can't kill.
Then it can't kill a regular.
alone in a small child alone in a. She's basically a burrito.
She burritos herself, and then that super raptor can't beat a regular raptor.
Oh man, that must be so embarrassing for them scientists.
BD Wong's just like, God damn it.
I bet the person who bid on that was like, oh, thank God. Oh, I nearly paid for that.
I nearly dodged a raptor bullet there.
Oh man,
Well, I mean, that's what you get when you put manatee DNA in anything.
fucking manatees.
It just boops its nose against glass all the time.
They're no longer endangered.
I know. That's great.
But they are dangerous
Very.
and in danger, but not endangered.
Yeah.
They're always in danger of boat propellers.
Yeah.
But at least they're not in endangered servitude.
Too far, Marcus.
Damn it, Marcus. Try and keep it on track.
I'm sorry.
Stay
I'm sorry.
focused.
You know what? We should just fix it with nukes.
Yeah.
Should
You know
we?
what? That actually is a popular thing in films
Popular
as well.
trope.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe they
the-
use
the-
it in
And like the core.
yeah.
In the core.
Yeah.
For instance, yeah.
In Sunshine.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in Armageddon.
Yeah.
It is in
yeah, yeah,
Armageddon.
yeah.
And
Oh,
in...
and Deep Impact. They also try. They also.
Oh, they try, and don't they fuck it up?
Oh,
They
also
fuck
in
it up.
in World War II.
yeah.
Yes, worked really well then.
Yeah, well, that was a John Wayne film, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, more recently, in Godzilla.
Yes.
Yes, but it works.
But it works.
It works too well.
Ken Watanabe superpowers. Do you?
No spoilers.
Oh.
Godzilla embers up in the final fight. Did you notice?
That was so subtle.
Okay, guys, legitimate. It's fine if I get some spoilers. I'm gonna watch it anyway and be super excited and hype about
Godzilla
it.
embers up in the final fight.
Fuck yes.
What? What?
It's pretty crazy.
That is
Wow.
pretty crazy.
But yeah, nukes. But you know, the fucking nuke thing is just really funny because we joke about the Japan thing, and it's hilarious how in the West nukes solve problems and give you superpowers. In the East, they lead horrible monsters to destroy everything.
Yep.
It's almost like something very specific and important happened in one of those two countries.
The assassination of Archduke Ferdinand.
Yes, indeed. And then one thing led to another.
That assassination story is amazing. Because like
Oh,
five
they
people
botched
attempted
it.
and
They botched it so many
hard.
times.
And then the one guy who failed to do it, like his cyanide pill didn't work. It was defective, the one in his tooth. So he tried to drown himself in the river that was next to the road
That was
where the parade was
frozen.
going past. So he jumped into it. It's only like this. It was only like shin deep, and he just went splat.
And they still pulled it off.
Well, I mean, only because his car broke down next to one of the assassins on his way home. He's like, this is a shit show. It's not going to work. I give up. I'm just calling it a day and going home. And I mean, I guess.
Bang! Got you now!
He was just getting too cocky. Bitch can't assassinate me.
Just try.
Come
Oh
on.
no.
That's the shittiest movie science.
It's true.
Archduke Ferdinand - Tupac.
As he's known on the streets.
Ferdinand
The
Shakur.
Machiavellian, if you will.
But
We will not.
what gets me with the core is how they're complaining about all these radio waves
Yes.
that are gonna cook the planet.
Yes.
When all in reality they would do is just disturb our cell phone signal.
Yep.
I mean, basically,
Whoa.
society would collapse.
That's pretty much Armageddon.
overnight.
I mean, yeah, but I just love the idea that, like, I just love, like, in terms of shitty movie science, I love the fact that a nuke will fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Yeah.
so
Just
fucking out
Catch
there.
all.
The sun's
Yeah.
going out. Nuke,
Nuke
it.
it. Yeah. Nuke the sun to start it up again. How
Even
is
though
that
the sun
gonna work?
uses fission, not fusion. But anyway.
It doesn't matter because a
They
nuke will
sound
fix
similar,
it.
Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas, they're basically the same thing.
Sorry, sun uses fusion, not fission.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all know that if a star is going out, all you need is a Norse god and a raccoon in a pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a Dyson sphere.
Yes, you need a Dyson sphere. It's almost like they don't know what a Dyson sphere is.
They know what it is.
With the core, how do they get out of the little? I don't want to call it a spaceship. The Earth ship.
The Earth ship.
How do they get out of the Earth ship and not die?
I remember.
Oh, right.
I remember
Whales,
so little
motherfucker.
of this film.
Whales.
No. That's how it saves them at the end. I'm saying like when they're on their way down and it like lands on a thing and they need to go outside of it to repair it before they can continue.
They use the liquid nitrogen that's acting as their cooling system because liquid nitrogen is just everywhere, I guess.
Yeah. It is.
And are definitely not very precious and should be held on to. They blast the outside with liquid nitrogen and then go up.
Yes.
That makes perfect
Okay, yeah,
sense.
that makes
Because it
perfect.
would also
We're
just,
doing shitty movie science, guys. Not completely plausible.
because that would also just like liquid nitrogen would just attain the perfect temperature.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just pour some on yourself and walk outside, and you're good.
Just
You
rub
go-
some on your cheeks. You know,
Make sure
stop
you
you
get,
from
you get
sunburn.
don't forget your ears.
Yeah, no, everybody
you go.
knows. No, everybody
Walking
knows,
like a
like,
cricketer.
extreme frostbite cancels out 5th-degree burns.
There you go.
You're just fine.
That's just science, guys.
No, it's like it's a 12 Monkeys. Remember?
What do the numbers mean, Mason?
Yeah. You remember 12 Monkeys, the one where Bruce Willis goes back in time to stop the zombie apocalypse and a monkey?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yep.
Have you not seen it?
I'm pretty sure I've seen
He goes
it.
back in time because
don't
some
remember the
kind
time
of
travel
virus started
aspect.
by a monkey.
Yeah, it's basically the rage virus from 28 Days Later
Yes.
exists in this, but it turns people to zombies, kind of. So that's what Bruce Willis is going back in time to stop Peter from doing what they do, and that's break things.
Yeah.
So yeah, a hero basically.
Is that the one that starts in the lab with the monkeys?
No, that's the
No,
one.
that-
That's 28 Days
that's
Later.
28 days later.
28 Days Later starts in the lab, and then
The monkey escapes.
the monkey escapes, and then you
Okay.
see Cillian Murphy's penis.
Yeah.
You do. Isn't it Killian?
I don't know.
I think it's Killian, and it doesn't matter how you pronounce it because that penis is glorious.
I guess.
This podcast has taken a weird turn.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Shitty
it?
movie
Let's get it back on
science.
track.
You know what? Let's
Jurassic
just nuke the
Park.
podcast because that'll fix it.
So back to Jurassic Park and how they just fill in blank spots with
just-
frog DNA.
They just make frog dinosaurs.
I think that the most implausible thing actually isn't that, because like that's at least still within the realm of like
Yeah, with-
what they're actually doing.
With what CRISPR is doing in
Yeah.
100 years, maybe. But
No,
Or
I
the
think
glow-in-the-dark
I'm pretty
bunnies.
I'm pretty sure they do actively draw on like other animals' DNA to sort of complete sequences.
As far as I know, it's
Don't
not
they?
a possibility.
I thought the
Well, explain the glow-in-the-dark rabbits
Mm.
that totally exist in our real. Like, I'm not being facetious.
no, I know you're not. They spliced some sort of
Yeah,
something
they
into them.
spliced the
Well, no,
fluorescent
you,
gene.
you can splice genes if you have two complete genes.
Yes.
You can't like pop out this gene, and
okay.
pop in another gene, or like if it's incomplete, just
Yeah, it's
in
like
a
putting a
specific
Jenga
frog
block
gene that you
into Lego bricks. It doesn't work.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the most implausible thing of it though is just like that the DNA survived at all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, decay is at a hell of a rate, even if frozen.
Even in
amber.
the most perfect kept temperatures, but no. In the mosquito, in the fucking amber, in the DRC. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Also-
Dominican Republic.
Also, you know those terrifying velociraptors?
This big.
In reality, they don't get bigger than 3 feet.
Utah Raptors is what they should have had.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, like not just that, the fucking like feathers.
yeah.
Well, look, to be fair,
everyone
To be
who
fair.
says that dinosaurs should have feathers should die.
well,
So
no, they should have feathers, but the depiction of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were as accurate as possible at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we think they do have more like plumage, like crests and things like that. But full-feathered dinosaur people, they can just fuck off because they don't know what they're talking about, and they can get out of my face with that
T-Rex was
bullshit.
a bird.
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah, it's literally just a big tarantal.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, and I'm afraid of it.
Guinea fowl.
Guinea fowl.
Guinea fowls are scary though.
No, they
I,
are.
I was attacked by one because I went too close to it and its baby by mistake, and I was like, "Rah!" And I nearly died.
No, you think that's bad? Have you Like
I was
never,
10 at the time.
Never
Hey,
hit
man,
a
it's
guinea
good.
fowl with your car, because when in a case of car versus guinea fowl wins
It's like rock,
Every
paper,
time.
scissors.
every time.
Car,
Like,
guinea fowl, nuke.
yeah.
Car, guinea fowl, nuke.
A friend
I
of
don't know
mine
how
was
to do the-
a friend of mine was driving. No, Nikki told me the story that her dad was driving. They were like going like 120 down the N2 something, like on their way down from Joburg, and a guinea fowl tried to fly across, and it went through the windscreen between the back seats and out the other side.
What a
Was it
nerd.
okay?
No, it was lit. It was dead, but
Well,
it
in
was.
the car one.
Well, then the car won
The
because
car
was
won,
still moving.
objectively.
Yeah, car was still
It could.
functioning.
It would have killed any person that was in the way.
That's
would
all.
have had a
That's
head
that.
explosion.
You're
That's a-
moving the
that's a draw.
goalposts now.
Yeah, it's like a... Yeah, it's a draw, I'd say.
I think the guinea. I think that the car wins because the car.
The car
has a-
still
has
wins.
a
And even,
flesh
even if the
wound.
people die in the car, the
Yeah,
car's
the
still
car's
on.
still
The
going.
car's still winning. The
Semantics.
glass lost. The glass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The
Gotta
glass lost
say-
as badly as the
Yeah.
guinea fowl.
Yeah, because the glass is now rendered non-functional.
Actually, no, the glass comes out on top because, well, the guinea fowl just died. The glass died and took a guinea fowl with,
With
it,
it,
which made the
you're
world a better
right.
place.
Yes.
It's true. They should all be put
Yeah.
to death. But yeah, I love Jurassic Park. I rewatched it last night.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park and Lost World. I mean, it's my favorite movie for a reason. But like, and then fucking, I love the Barbasol can. And yeah, I'm gonna keep these highly scientifically stabilized dinosaur embryos in my fucking shaving cream can. It's like, sure,
But
it's,
he eats some of it, so it's not even shaving cream.
no,
It's fake shaving
he
cream.
doesn't eat it. He puts it on puts it on a dessert that's next to it, which is it's actually more fucked up because
Yeah.
that's just a dessert plate that's obviously about to be served to someone, and he spurts that shit into his hand, and then he puts it on someone's dessert, and it looks like cream. So someone's
Yeah.
gonna bite into that thinking, "Oh, delicious cream," and they go, "Barbasol."
And it's probably they're just gonna think it's unsweetened cream because the taste difference between unsweetened cream
and
shaving
shaving
cream.
cream, non-existent.
It's you can't distinguish the two.
And if
at all.
anything, they're gonna be like, this is unusually good.
Do you know what do you know what I thought was in the bullshit science part of that film, which I then found out like last year is like super real?
Fat people running.
No, that's still a myth. I know I don't go to gym. So the operating system on
Yeah.
the computer.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
Unix.
thought that was like something that
Oh, you thought that
bullshit-
was pure sci-fi bullshit.
I thought that was pure. Like,
mean, in
because it
fairness,
looks really cool.
The
so
application,
it's like, this can't be real.
The application, like what they're actually doing,
is bullshit.
yeah, like overall. But yeah, that's just Unix.
Yeah, no, I thought that was something they straight up made up for that thing, and then I found out it was real, and I was like, wow, I'm actually pretty impressed. But I love
the
that movie.
90s were a mystical time.
I love that movie, but it's full of shit.
I mean, hell, the commentary tracks of drunk Ben Affleck about Armageddon.
That
I love
is-
that.
Look at-
I love it so
that man
much.
is a hero. Is fucking just.
Yeah.
This is a good plan. Yeah, whatever, man.
So I was talking to I was talking to Michael Bay. I was like, wouldn't it be? Yeah, just shut the fuck up, Ben.
Shut the fuck up, man. This is a good plan. So you're gonna train drillers to be astronauts? Why don't you just train astronauts to be drillers? These people make spaceships. They can't make a drill.
Shut the fuck up, Ben.
That commentary track is absolute money, and that movie is.
It's so good, and that idea is so stupid.
You know your movie's in trouble when Steve Buscemi is your science guy.
Whoa,
A pedophilic Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi.
Do you know that they show that film to all NASA recruits to see if they can catch all 168 inaccuracies?
Oh really? Oh wow.
That's awesome! What a bizarre place of honor that film should not have. But I figured like the most.
There are 168 things incorrect with the space travel in this movie. Find them.
I'm surprised it's only 168 to be honest.
But that's just the space travel.
Well,
that's not
well,
Oh yeah, no,
else.
that's
And
just
remember,
the 20 minutes.
number 12 is
Everything.
everything. Big Chevy speedboat.
where do we land on the bad science of Deep Impact? Because it's not as memorable. Do you guys like? I remember they tried to shoot the
It didn't
asteroid out of
make.
the science thing.
Yeah, it didn't make as much of a deep on me.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wish it made more of an
Messed up,
impact
Theo.
though.
Oh, I bet you feel like an
I'm
idiot
so
now.
embarrassed now.
Beach too.
Yeah.
All
I don't really remember.
I
Deep
remember
Impact.
one thing from that entire movie, and admittedly I've only watched it twice.
President Morgan Freeman.
I don't even remember President Morgan Freeman. All I remember, and I don't even know if it's in the film, all I my hazy fucking
So
memory.
you remember a thing that may or may not be in Deep
my
Impact.
hazy fucking memory is that there's a scene where there's this fucking tidal wave just annihilating everybody on this freeway, and there's this couple that gets out their car and has a kiss in front of this impending.
Because they're like, we're dead.
Yeah.
Let's just embrace one last time.
And that is the sum total of my memory of the film.
Does that happen in the film?
It does indeed happen.
Does
in
it
the
happen in the
film.
movie?
Nice.
Yes, thank you, faulty Thomas memory.
Yeah. There's
I
also
mean,
a scene where they're outside in the city and they see like the tidal wave coming, and they're like, it'll be fine, and then it just ends up like a foot deep where they are.
I mean, I believe you.
How does it rate against the tidal wave from The Day After Tomorrow?
The tidal
Less-
wave that moves through everything,
It moves through everything, and when it freezes and expands, doesn't break buildings.
which is weird. At least the one in Geostorm did.
Yeah.
But Geostorm had a lot of surprisingly decent effects work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, that's where the money went.
Yeah.
It
like
didn't
when
go
they,
to
when
the
they made
script writer.
Gerard Butler look competent, that was really cool.
When you save
through a
money
certain
by
light.
not hiring a script writing team at all,
No script writing team, no continuity people,
nothing.
but they
Nothing.
wa-
You've got
and no catering.
no.
Okay,
And
but
no
then
insurance because it's all VFX.
Everyone was just encouraged to bring PB&Js.
Everyone,
from
please bring
home.
apples.
Yeah. Remember,
all
tomorrow
celebrate-
is bring apples to say, like you bring apples, or I remember all the crew will bring oranges.
And then the people that bring apples, they're all used as VFX balls to simulate where things are. There's markers. For
Yeah, bring
VFX.
apples.
Yeah,
What?
brackets Granny Smith
Granny
only,
Smith,
I
please.
just imagined all of the actors sitting on the edge of the green screen with those little red lunchbox things.
So they all
Those
go,
lunch
they all go out
pails.
onto a girder above the city. they all just sit there.
They all sit on a
lunch.
boom mic. It's just this is a sound guy going, my arms.
Man, sound guys must have mad endurance.
Oh, they do.
Dude.
To do that
Yo.
shit.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
oh
they
yeah,
must be-
dude. Like
That was my limit, by the way. I was doing it for as long as I could.
That's pretty impressive.
they're jacked. Like they are.
Yeah,
like,
remember
those-
the pink shorts guy from Star Wars?
Yeah,
Yeah, I do remember
That dude's
Pink Shorts
jacked.
guy.
like they've got guns.
Speaking of
They've got tickets
sound
to the
in
gun
space.
Sound in space.
Sound in space. I gotta say, Gravity did that super well.
Yeah,
I-
apparently they only have sound whenever a character's like touching the thing
Yeah,
that's
because
making
it's,
sound
the,
of
it's the
vibration.
vibrations.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but we're talking about shitty science. Sorry.
Yes. Not talking about good science.
Well,
No, I love the fact that there is sound in space in
Sound in
movies
space.
because otherwise it would be boring.
sound in space, explosions in space.
Yeah.
That's
Take that,
the big
Star
one.
Wars.
And also-
that's the fucking silver bullet that
and
takes Star
also
Wars
the
down.
spaceship's banking to turn.
Yeah,
you
it's like-
only really need a bank to turn so that
You can
wind pressure and stuff
aerodynamic.
can help you.
Why don't I just go? Meh.
Yeah,
They-
but I
Just have like
they-
a little thing, like two booster
Yeah.
rockets going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they did do it for the aesthetics of the movie because they wanted it to look like old school dogfights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big,
Oh, and I mean,
and it
okay,
looks
if
cool.
yeah, because I mean, there was a different time as well where you could have dogfights in movies and people weren't just morally outraged.
Yeah, Randy Pitchford fucking loved
Yeah,
it.
he's just
get him, get him, get him.
Dion, I think you're confusing space battles with the Pokemon movie again.
oops.
Classic.
Another thing, why is space always freezing in movies?
Because it is.
Because it's
No,
negative.
it's got
Kelvin.
an atmosphere, which means it's either freezing or really, really hot. But even if people are in the light, they're still freezing, which makes no sense.
Yeah, but
No,
you-
it does
you-
make
no,
it
you-
does
No,
make
it
sense.
makes zero scientific
it
sense.
makes-
I looked into it. It makes zero
it
sense.
makes sense because you need like particles to transfer the energy
Of heat.
Of heat.
Without it,
Okay.
And in a complete vacuum, there are no particles to carry.
Heat doesn't really work like that from stars and such. And B, if that is the case, why do people freeze instantly if there's nothing for their heat to be like to have their heat drawn away.
It is. It's high pressure, low pressure. You've got a vacuum.
Heat
and...
doesn't work like that.
No, I'm not talking about heat. I'm talking about like people freezing and their blood sublimating and then going.
Yeah.
That also really wouldn't happen because you're going from one like one.
It looked
atmosphere of
really
pressure
cool
to
in
no
Event
atmosphere
Horizon.
of
Just
pressure.
shut the.
Yeah, but that's what I
No,
mean.
the
High
only-
pressure to low pressure.
No, but
'Cause you
that,
one
the
atmosphere.
pressure drop of 1 isn't enough to make your blood explode out of your body. For it to happen, there was one case where it actually did happen. There was a diving thing that went wrong. I think it's the something dolphin, where
The
I think it
something
was
dolphin.
five divers were mistakenly, like, somebody fucked up, and they went from -9 atmospheres to 1 atmosphere of pressure.
And then they just went.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jeez.
But
Well, it
it's-
would have
but
been
it-
more like.
But it needs to be a jump of that much. A jump of 1 atmosphere isn't going to make your blood go. The biggest problem with it that you would most likely face is getting oxygen in your blood. I mean, not oxygen, air bubbles and
Yeah,
shit in your blood.
nitrogen in your blood. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem. So if you're going to be thrown out of a vacuum, out of like one of those vacuum thingies into space, blow out. Get rid of all your air.
Yeah.
Just like they did in fucking
In?
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yes, that's exactly like
That is some smart movie
Yeah,
science.
That
they were
is-
like exhale.
Yeah, it's like you've got to exhale all the oxygen because otherwise, like, you're gonna die.
You'll definitely die if you
That's
exhale.
good movie science.
Yeah, if you
and
you
the only
don't
thing
ex-
that happens to him
Wait.
is like the capillaries in his eyes burst.
Yeah.
If
And he
they
starts
did the
bleeding out his
research for
eyes.
that for event, does that mean hell is real?
Yes.
Is that why they won't show it to us? They got it too accurate.
They're like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, the fucking reptilian shapeshifter government was like, oh shit, they're on to us.
they've done their damn research.
It's exactly the type of case of like in The Good Place where that guy correctly predicted what happened in the afterlife.
Yeah.
It's like literally they got too close.
Got too close to the truth.
Yeah. But no, yeah,
I'm impressed that Event Horizon did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the guy doesn't
It did.
freeze. He
Yeah.
just like breathes out and he screams and the capillaries in his
Well,
eyes
yeah,
burst
because-
and they go.
Because three ways to lose heat. It is conduction, convection, and radiation. Now, you need matter for the first two. Like, you need things touching you. You need to
Yeah,
touch
you
something
need to
cold or hot or whatever
Transfer.
for the transfer of the heat.
That's transfer of heat.
So the only one available is the least efficient one, which is radiation. And with pretty much nothing in space, that's going to take you like an hour to freeze at least.
I thought space was negative 157 degrees Kelvin.
Yeah, but
I thought
you
that
still
was
have
the-
to. There's still nothing to transfer that heat. There's no atmosphere. So it's
stop
only
trying to make this
radiation.
a science podcast, okay?
This is a science podcast. This is fascinating.
Which is why in shade in the space you're really really cold.
Yes.
In light in the space you're gonna fucking burn up.
I thought you would die instantly from radiation, pretty much. That's why those suits.
That too, most likely.
Like, that's why those suits are like all shielded and like have doodads and whatnot. 'cause-
Doodads.
I don't know the
There's the no
science.
radiation doodad.
Yeah, that there's the
That's one of the 168 things. They didn't have the no radiation doodad.
Yeah.
fucking cold. It's
Well, remember that's one of the main things that the the moon landing truthers keep harping on
Oh,
about.
yeah, the
They're like,
radiation
no, the radiation
would
would
have
just
killed you
instantly kill
instantly.
you if you even try to fly to the moon. That's why we never went.
You realize there's a picture of a dude standing next to the elephant's foot in Chernobyl, right? And he's still alive today.
somehow. Well, like the
So, like,
interesti-
sorry, moon
interestingly,
landing.
Well,
interest-
well, I mean-
interestingly, just talking about Chernobyl, it actually there's in the end credits they're actually like, oh yeah, you know that shit you were told, like that stuff didn't happen. Like, you know, the guys that I don't know how much you know about the Chernobyl incident, but
Not too much.
there were dudes that
They were
basi-
trying to fix something with a nuke.
pretty much actually, just like a
Marcus is that problem
a
solver.
slow nuke. It's a very
Like
slow
they just
nuke.
call him like, yeah, nuke
Nuke
it.
it.
Mr. Marcus, how do energy?
Nuke it.
And then that was it. So
Think of it as the Earth's core had it stopped spinning.
So basically, in the Chernobyl incident, there was a part in the disaster where dudes had to go and open flood tanks that were filled with radioactive water, and it was directly underneath
Radioactive super boiling water, if I remember correctly.
and it was like underneath the reactors, like the most radioactive thing ever. And like, you know, it was wide, like, so I was, you know, all you hear is like, oh yeah, these guys died instantly, but they died heroes because they stopped the
They died
meltdown.
slowly.
They didn't even die slowly. Like, one of them is alive today. Like, radiation is fucked up, but there are ways to protect yourself from it. And it's weird because I remember, like, for my whole life, hearing that these 3 dudes had died, like, you know, oh, they died heroes because they stopped the meltdown. And, like,
Heroes of the people of the
much.
Soviet Republic
yeah,
of.
spoiler, you find out, like, everything that the Russians said to the world is
Was
a
a
complete
bold-faced lie.
I can't wait to see their version of it that they're releasing.
Oh my god.
I heard about that.
What?
Yeah, they are
They're
super
so-
upset
they're
with it.
very
So they're
embarrassed.
releasing their own version of the events.
Oh, that's fantastic. I can't wait for the communist version.
It's gonna be an American insurgent.
This is a very cool thing, by the way, because obviously Jason was right with his space heat. Just the phrase "space is actually a pretty good insulator" is a really good phrase. So yeah, stuff in direct sunlight will be cooked. Like if you're in orbit now, like you'll get like in direct sunlight, it can get up to about 120 degrees. But like the dark side of the moon, for instance, could be like minus 140 or something. But yeah, you'll die from like lack of oxygen many hours before you actually freeze in space.
I know space.
You do know space.
You do know
Nice.
You
space.
cheated by doing some sort of research.
Yeah, you
read
read
up
it.
on a thing.
To be fair, he
did
did
read
tell
up.
us to read up on things.
Yeah, but why would we listen to Jason?
Dion just did it right now, so you also read up on things.
Yeah, but I did it after the fact. I was post-active. You were
So
proactive.
you've read up on things.
Look, all I know is like in the Chernobyl series, like I really like the way they depict the radiation burns.
Is that all you know?
That's not a lot.
Yeah.
That's
I
not
mean,
much.
I asked you to research, and you're like, I know that the
core.
radiation burns are cool.
Yeah, no, because
That's-
Marcus is right, because I also really enjoyed it, because my... I know, a joke.
But you know other things.
It's true.
This is literally all he knows. Don't take it from him.
So I'm trying to steal his thunder.
No, I've got it now, it's mine!
No, it's
Call
yours.
me Zeus, bitch!
Okay, Zeus bitch.
Or Hephaestus. Or Hephaestus, technically.
Is it pronounced Hephaestus?
I don't know. Greek is a stupid language.
You could have said
Their
for
economy
Greek to
is
me.
also stupid.
Yeah.
Heyo, Spanikopita.
In my perception of radiation, like, you know, the horrible things that happen to you, obviously was from secondhand stuff and like doing vague Googles in high school. I didn't know it would fucking kill you in seconds. Like, there's moments where, like, for instance, one of the firefighters picks up a piece of graphite, which is part of the control rods that stop the reactions in the rods, and within minutes, his, like, the flesh is just sloughing off his fucking
Ah,
hands.
no!
And, like,
I'm not watching this.
it
Nope,
is
nope, nope,
like
nope, nope.
like proper horror show stuff,
Yeah.
but like within
Yeah, Ruan actually
hours.
said we must watch it for a spooky because
No,
it
like,
plays out like a horror.
It does.
It does.
It's a
fucking-
proper thriller.
It's a
Like,
survival horror for me,
yeah.
pretty much.
What's it called? The mixture of radioactive shit and concrete and graphite and all of that. Like
Yeah, you're
what
right. It
elephant
is
foot
called the
made
ele-
out of. It's
it-
called.
it
it's
is called the-
chromium.
Dithanium.
Oh, the actual thing. I don't know.
The actual.
Unobtainium.
No, it's Dithanium. They
Shut
got
up.
James Cameron to name it.
What is it?
Dithanium.
Slag?
No, slag is just a term
That's
for...
just you.
Yeah,
I
slag's
like
just
slag.
like molten stuff. I don't know. I know it's called the
I'm looking it up. You guys talk about more inaccuracies.
Deep Blue Sea, motherfucker.
Yeah, let's get back on that
Yes.
genetic engineering
Yeah,
train.
get back on that genetic engineering train.
Ah.
Also with Sam
Corium.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Corium.
Corium.
Oh,
They should have called
that's super
that
appropriate.
the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Another genetic
Municipal building.
manipulation, Thomas. Good job. Manipulation film with also Sam Jackson, where he also dies.
Yeah.
Although
Although his death
Oh,
is
yeah.
way cooler in Deep Blue Sea
It's,
than it is
it's
in
a pretty
Jurassic
cool
World.
death.
Yeah, because
Is that the one where he's just standing there giving that big speech?
Yeah, and then he
and
gets
it's very-
murked
That's
by a
literally the
shark.
only thing I remember from that.
That's the
I-
only thing you
I
need
love-
to remember.
Don't you
No,
remember
and-
LL Cool J's thesis statement where he ascertains that his hat is like a shark's fin? Deep as, blue as. My hat is like a shark's fin.
No, I watched it in the cinema.
Then you probably
Like, that's the last time I
but then
watched
you
it.
probably didn't stick around for the credits back then because
Deep-
that was the song he made to go.
Oh,
over the
really? Yeah,
credits.
that was the licensed track. Deep as blue as my hat is like a shark's fin.
Oh my god.
We will listen to it there after the.
Oh yeah, please, we
Yeah,
have to.
because he's in that obviously because it was
he was
early
the cook.
2000s, so get those rappers in.
No,
'cause
it was
that's
late 90s, wasn't it?
early 2000s.
Was it early 2000s?
I'm almost 100% sure.
Jason,
Yeah.
give me a date on Deep Blue Sea.
2001.
Deep Blue Sea. I'm gonna say 2002.
Okay, look it up because I don't have data on my phone.
But my
Just attached to the Wi-Fi,
favorite
man.
part of the thing is that they somehow use gene therapy. How they do it is irrelevant.
Ooh, we
to the
both
film.
overshot it.
Oh yeah,
99.
99. Marcus is right. Nice. So in the film, they use gene therapy to enhance the shark's brains because they're harvesting this chemical that
therapy.
will stop Alzheimer's because of reasons.
It's some kind of enzyme that sort of eats.
Yeah, because they
This thing that
they put
causes the
forward that
Alzheimer's.
sharks exhibit no degenerative brain disease that humans do, which is true.
So is that the only reason sharks haven't taken over the world? Is because they keep getting Alzheimer's, and now that they've made these sharks immune to Alzheimer's.
No, sharks
They
are
don't
immune.
get Alzheimer's. They say that like
I don't know
sharks.
as much about shark brains as I do about space.
That's fair. You can only know so much about space. So
Also,
they
you guys
say-
should all be into playing Man-Eater when it comes out. It's a shark PG. It's fantastic.
God damn.
So that was you were saying
The-
before you were so rudely interrupted by Marcus.
Jesus, Marcus, what the fuck?
Wow.
Pretty
I-
professional.
Marcus,
The
Come on.
the sharks are then made smarter
Yes.
through gene therapy, which they lie in the beginning of the film. They're like, we totally didn't use gene therapy to make these sharks better. And then there's a shark the size of a fucking bus that swims through, and they're like, yeah, natural shark.
Yeah.
And
Totally,
Sam- Sam
totally
make-
legit.
Mako sharks get that
Yeah,
big.
Mako sharks, my favorite sharks, by the way.
Tiger's mine.
I like Mako sharks because they eat people that fall off the back of cruise ships,
That's good.
which is pretty cool.
I like the great white for obvious reasons.
Of course you do.
What's
so-
your favorite shark, Dion?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know it instantly. You're,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not much of a shark guy.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
I'm kind of a common, kind of a pleb.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Velociraptor.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah,
But it's Velociraptor
that's like
specific-
it's like
okay.
oh, what's your favorite Queen song? Bohemian Rhapsody. Well, no, this is more.
No,
we are the,
T-Rex
This is
would
more.
be-
We are the champions. Yeah, T-Rex would be Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite dinosaur?
My Allosaurus.
Allosaurus. That's a good one. He's got big arms.
Yeah.
He's like a small T-Rex but with bigger arms.
Yep.
Yeah.
Much more dangerous. Ankylosaurus. I like the one with
I
the
love
mace tail.
Ankylosaurus. He's got a cool mace tail.
Yours,
Yeah.
Thomas?
Parasaurolophus.
Oh.
Which one's that?
It's the spitty one.
No, that's Dilophosaurus.
Oh, that's Dilophosaurus.
Which isn't technically a dinosaur.
No,
Yeah.
they kind of fudged that one a little bit, but it's fine. Yes.
Mohawkosaurus.
Yes. No, that's Pachycephalosaurus. No, that's the one with the bone head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
You were saying about smart
I was
sharks.
saying
term
about
like
small-
bonehead. It's the
I was saying about
generative.
smart sharks. The smart shark thing is fine. The hilarious part is in the movie where the Punisher lifts up his underwater shotgun, and the
We're talking about Tom Jane Punish.
and then the sharks recognize the gun,
Yeah.
and they swim backwards away from him.
Yeah, they
It's like,
reverse.
it's like
Because
okay,
sharks can do that.
It's
It
like
won't
yeah,
fuck their gills
yeah.
up.
It's like okay, your brain's bigger, and you're obviously a smart shark, and you recognize the gun, but that doesn't equate to your gills and the way your gills
Yeah, it's not like the
work.
reason sharks can't swim backwards is because they're
Because
too
they're
stupid
dumb.
to think, wait, let me just move in a different direction.
Let
They
me just
physiologically
let me just
can't.
flip my tail the other way.
Yeah.
I guess.
Just like under.
Yeah, just like
It's like,
crayfish.
it's like when you eat something really hot and you try and blow inside your mouth by curving your lips.
No, I
the shark
I
equivalent.
figured that.
the shark equivalent.
I figured out how to do that. You just suck air in.
Convection.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah,
But
that,
then you can also just inhale pieces of your food and then die.
I see this as an absolute win.
Okay, so the smart shark
So yeah,
swim backwards.
smart sharks swim backwards, and then yeah, it's really dumb. I do like that it has a go.
No, carry on.
I
Mine's
do like-
slightly on a tangent.
I do like that it has a great moment where the lead cuts her hand to lure the shark away, and
Wasn't that Taya Leone?
I don't remember.
I have no idea who.
No,
it was.
it was one of the. Wasn't it? Look it up. It
It was
was.
an Australian woman.
Yeah.
That's all I know. There's a scene earlier where
can't remember the
Punisher,
fucking
where
password.
Water Punisher is basically like doing this chicken thing with a shark,
Yeah.
and he grabs onto its fin and gets the number plate out of its mouth.
Yeah.
Later in the film, the leading lady cuts her hand to try and lure the shark away, and it sets it up, framing and everything, to make you think that she's gonna do that again.
Yeah.
And then the shark just fucking murks her, like, cause and she's the lead. So you're like, oh, well, she's obviously gonna live because
No.
she's the lead. And then she's like, oh, do, and you know, it frames it like, oh yeah, she's totally gonna dodge it. Oh, she's gonna do that fin thing. And then it just fucking eats her, like, really brutally. And like her legs come off, and like the shark's like, yep, yep, yep.
I need to fucking watch this movie again.
Yeah, you
it's-
really do.
It's pretty solid. Like,
It's basically like a shark-based geostorm.
yeah,
Nice.
it really is.
I just want to give you guys a bit of I came across the
Geoshark.
other day. Like there's a like the Titanic trivia page on IMDb is full of really great stuff, but this one just had me canning myself. Gloria Stewart, who's the woman that played the old woman, being only 86, was aged by makeup to play Rose at age 100. She did not find this a pleasant experience. She died at 2010 at age 100.
Wow.
Wow.
I just love to say it's like Gloria Stewart being only 86 was aged by
only
makeup
86.
to play Rose at age 100.
Only 86.
Yeah, she was only 86, but like we're gonna have to make you look 100. Like she's just
We're gonna
like
have to hit you in the face with a
But you're
mallet.
putting baby powder in her hair.
That silver spray paint stuff.
she did not enjoy it, and then she died at the age of 100.
That's crazy. And then for Deep Blue Sea, they shot the sequel here.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
is
wow,
a
it must be
pure-
great.
It
It is
one
a
of
purely
the
South
biggest movies
African
I've ever
film,
seen.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's really good because I know all of the actors that were in it.
Oh, wow.
And I see them at work, and every time I see them, I make a point of bringing up Deep Blue Sea 2. Every time. I'm like, hey, Deep Blue Sea 2! And they're just like, yeah.
Instead of being a big shark this time, it's a swarm of tiny sharks.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Like I couldn't tell if you were.
No.
calling me
No,
or
no,
not.
no.
It's a shark that gives birth, basically, to like the swarm.
Oh wow! Like
A
a bunch
shark
of shark
swarm.
eggs, and then
Yeah, a
they
shark swarm.
hatch.
Well, some
Like
sharks,
the end of like the end of Roland Emmerich's Godzilla.
Yes.
That they
some
definitely
sharks,
set up very well.
do give birth to live
Yeah,
young.
they give
Yeah.
li-
Like the
life-
lemon
It's a-
shark.
It's a. I was being humorous. I just thought of a bunch of like shark eggs, like
Simultaneously-
ostrich eggs, just like
like ostrich eggs.
just like these big things, just like shooting out.
Sharks, the most dangerous egg layers. Just like a shrapnel
Just like
mine
yeah,
going
just
off
like
underwater.
one of those people in an old timey like diving suit, like on the floor of the ocean, like walking. And sharks! No!
It's the whale shark. Whale sharks, just underwater nukes going on.
Fixed it. With shark egg nukes. Nailed it.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea. Really give it.
I
give
gotta
it
see
a
that again.
rewatch,
I gotta see
man.
that again.
Like it is worth your fucking time.
Yeah, I should rewatch that. We should rewatch that.
Yes. I watched that I was 13 when that came out.
Yeah.
Throw it on the roof track pile.
Yeah. But like throw it on the top so that we actually watch it.
Papa Skarsgård's in it.
Yeah.
Ah. Isn't he also in the Chernobyl?
Yes,
Is it?
that was my link.
Nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay,
Nice.
so the reason we thought of this shitty science thingy was so we could talk about Geostorm again.
What?
What?
No, that was the
we
reason
never-
you thought.
I
of
need
it.
to rewatch
Yeah.
Geostorm. I remember, like in retrospect, I remember so little.
I rewatched it about
Like,
6 months ago. It's still as good.
I remember what's it? The Lesser Hemsworth, I think, is in there, and
Yeah.
like, and he's
Is he?
piloting that
Liam.
thing,
Huh.
and he's like,
He's not the
and the
Lesser
more
Hemsworth,
people
though.
like strain their
No.
faces and go, like the more, like the stronger the machine
No,
gets.
that's
you're thinking of
Independence Day.
Oh, that's
Resurgence.
Independence Day 2. My bad. I got those two are completely.
We talk about some shitty science.
They're
Talk
the
about,
same when you.
They're completely intertwined in
we
my
talk
head.
about Independence Day.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
with the computer
With
virus.
a computer virus.
Well,
Well,
to be
Independence
fair,
Day 2.
To be fair.
in the narrative of the movie, all our computer technology does come from
From alien
from
tech.
the alien tech,
Yeah.
from reverse engineering.
so-
Which is like saying
within-
a typewriter can interface with a supercomputer.
Yeah, I mean, it can. You get those
can.
USB typewriters. It flip done.
Huh.
Ha.
They're just called keyboards.
No, that's my friend. All right.
Yeah. Keyboards is his friend. Thomas's bestie is called keyboards.
Keyboards. He's very short.
Keanu.
He's an underwater archaeologist.
A very short man tried to do squats with me on his shoulders on Friday night.
Why? Was it a sex thing?
It
It wasn't a gay club.
That sounds like a sex
In
thing.
a
It's
weird
totally a
secret
sex
gay club.
thing.
It was definitely a sex thing.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
sex.
that was a sex. You got a sex thing.
Oh.
That's okay.
Jason got sexted.
Nice.
Nice. Good callback.
Oh.
It's from me.
That was just Thomas.
That's a penis.
Geostorm, we love you so much. With the
Geostorm, Dion,
Is
was
the
the
one-
one with the storm that can be stopped if you push the no button in time.
yeah, within 1 second. Within
No
1
storm.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
It's also the it's also the fucking movie where humanity built an entire network of satellites around the whole globe within like 5 years.
To control the weather.
It wasn't humanity, it was Gerard Butler.
It's also the film that has a fucking spaceport of like 30 rockets all lined up next to each other that are simultaneously landing and taking off the whole time.
Yo, well, that's just SpaceX.
And
Yeah.
Pretty much.
don't forget that lightning causes explosions no matter where it
Oh yeah,
hits.
all the
Yes.
buildings are made with plastic explosive.
It was like that political thing. that
Yeah.
you go, yeah. Oh my
All the
God.
buildings are made with plastic explosives baked into the concrete.
Yep.
So if lightning hits you, that's it, you done.
You're dead. You're dead, boy.
And
Well,
it's
wasn't
also
it all a plot to just assassinate
Yeah,
the
the
president?
whole thing-
Yes.
It was so like the most
convoluted.
elaborate plot. Like we don't need just a
also
guy
there
with
was
a sniper rifle.
also there were dedicated news cameras in
drones.
space.
Yeah.
yes, covering.
And we cut now to Jill in the upper stratosphere.
But why use the weather when you could just as
Use
easily
a
use an
gun.
army of explosive drones?
They didn't have that tech yet. They
Yeah,
only
Use an
had.
army of explosive drones, but you could just use a nuke.
I mean, if they're already fucking up the whole world to kill him, why not just use a nuke?
No, but they were fucking up other countries.
No, remember there is a movie where they tried to assassinate the president with a nuke and it failed. The Sum of All Fears. You remember
You
that?
know that wasn't that also a Ben Affleck
That's a
movie?
Ben
Yeah, that
Affleck
was
movie,
Ben
and it's
Affleck.
actually not
Isn't
that
it-
shit.
It's
Yeah.
based on a Tom Clancy novel.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
read the novel.
He plays Jack Ryan in that
He's a
one.
Yeah, it's one of the
CIA
many
guy.
Jack Ryan movies.
Yeah, and it's the one where literally terrorists infiltrate Washington D.C. with a fucking nuke that they
They put in a vending machine.
put in a vending machine, and they also sourced that nuke off the South African black market.
Woo! No. It's a South African guy that finds it, but he finds it in the Middle East because it was going to be deployed in the 6-Day War.
Oh,
and the
right,
plane
yeah.
got shot down and it
Yes,
was
yes,
carrying
yes,
a
yes.
nuke.
It's funny because
thought
we had
so.
a whole bunch of nukes.
We did. What happened to our nukes?
We had a whole bunch. They were
Weren't they
decommissioned.
stolen and given
They
to
were-
Iran?
They were decommissioned off the.
They
What's
were-
the word?
Decommissioned.
Yeah, but they were all.
They were retired.
They were undone.
They were unnucleared.
Yeah, they were denuclearized. I think that might actually be the word.
Also a Jack Ryan movie.
Was it really? There've been way too many of those.
There've been a bunch of those. Have you seen that really cool video of the physicist who talks about like Marvel films? Like where they have him rate like the accuracy of like the physics in Marvel films.
No, I haven't.
He's so cool because he's just like a giant fucking nerd, but he also very clearly loves comic books and stuff. And like he's sort of like rating each
A
one.
nerd that likes
Yeah,
comics.
but I mean, but it's just perfect. He's just like this. He's like this real stereotype, sort of like middle-aged, like professor, but like sort of quirky. Yeah. Anyway, really go look that up. It's
I will.
really really funny. It's really good. He says there's some surprisingly good physics here and there. Like you can sort of see he's being very game. Like he's really like he's giving them a lot of credit. Like
A lot of suspension.
so I'm gonna assume that
I'm gonna figure that they did this somehow.
Except when it comes to Cap's shield, because that is just no.
Well,
doesn't look at that.
It's
speaking,
made of Mjolnir.
yeah, definitely.
Although there's some interesting stuff about like what happens, like the actual physics reaction that's happening when Thor's hammer hits Cap's shield,
Really,
and he's like, oh okay, that means like because of how it converts energy, it is like this type of like matter, and like the reaction you're seeing is the
Well,
it's very
speaking
cool.
of like good science in the Marvel films, we alluded to it earlier with the fact that the weapon forge is a Dyson sphere,
Yes.
which like you, if
I
for
saw
anyone
a
that
really cool Dyson sphere ring where it like collapses and.
that's cool.
Yeah.
For anyone that
One of
doesn't
mine
know who's listening, a Dyson sphere is basically a machine that harvests the energy from a sun forever, which is super cool because in Thor 1, where he's talking about like magic and like he's like, yo, well, magic and science are actually two halves of the same coin, and the fact that they have a Dyson sphere in Endgame is a really cool like little nod, I think, which is nice.
Don't you mean Infinity War?
I do mean Infinity War.
oh with fucking what's his face. Peter
Game of
Partridge.
Thrones.
Yeah.
Peter Porridge face.
Replaced by Nolan
Dinker
North.
Partridge. Yeah.
Good.
Dinker
Not
Partridge.
Nolan North.
In later releases of Infinity War, they're going to replace him with Nolan North.
Yeah,
Dinkle
because
Partridge.
his Game of Thrones schedule just doesn't allow it.
Yeah, well, like that. What was the video game? Was it?
was Destiny.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hired her. They're like, wow, this is a bad investment.
Fucking hell, what did we do? Why didn't we just get Nolan
Why
North?
does he keep getting cast? in
I
everything?
don't know.
I've only ever seen him be good in one thing, like aside from like Game of Thrones, where it's kind of like
That's his character.
sort of him.
And that's Death at a Funeral.
Like in anything else, no, it was the one episode of 30 Rock that he's in.
I liked him in Death at a Funeral.
I haven't seen
He
that.
was in 30
You haven't seen Death
Yeah,
at a
he's
Funeral?
in one episode, and it's actually excellent. It's where Liz is like, she's all baby crazy, and she's just really like, she's obsessed with this idea of having a child.
And then Peter Dinklage shows up.
And then, then she sees him standing there, and she thinks he's a child, and she goes, hey, and he like looks at her, and she obviously has to save face. She can't tell this grown man she thought he was a child. So she sort of like just pretends that she was just being very like assertive and forward, and that she wants to go out with him. And he works at the UN, and it's just really awkward.
It's just
and
so
it
good.
ends with, and when they have sort of like when they sort of go their separate ways after he realizes that like she thought he was just a child, and he gives her another chance, and then like they're supposed to meet up on the Brooklyn Bridge, and then she goes up to another child, and she's like, hey, and then she turns around and he's standing there. He's like, okay, shut it down, and he's like, oh, by the way, your show, I have seen it. It's fucking savage.
I liked him.
No,
in,
he was fucking good in that.
I liked him in Death at a Funeral. I thought it was
That I have
pretty
to
good.
see. What is that?
Really, you've never seen the
I don't think so.
I prefer
the British Death at a Funeral? No, that's the one I'm talking about.
yeah.
Okay, so they made British movie, 2008-ish or 9,
Yeah,
I believe.
around
It's got Alan Tudyk in it. I mean, do you need more?
Nah.
Exactly. So really funny British comedy about, you know, a death in a family and shenanigans that happen at the
Funeral.
At the
Well, it
funeral.
won a Teen Choice Award for movie actress.
Yeah.
um,
The teens made their choice.
Alan Tudyk, I believe, gets accidentally super high on ecstasy and then has to like maintain face during the
It's got a
funeral.
lot of cringe, and I couldn't watch it in a single sitting.
Is there? You said there's more than one.
There's more than one.
Okay,
America,
there's an American one.
America
that's-
then decided to do a black comedy, and I don't mean black
'cause
comedy.
I'm seeing two very contrasting posters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
One is very good. Another is very bad.
Yeah, I can see this one's got very poor ratings. So.
Yeah. That's not the one you want. You want the one
Ah,
with good ratings.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's
And
the
it's-
science in that movie?
Science in that movie's pretty good. The guy gets super high, and I think that's what happens when you take drugs.
Scientifically speaking, I would imagine.
And the man who died
But you can't.
is dead.
But you
Yeah.
can't have a death at a funeral.
I mean,
can.
you can.
You
It's
can.
a bit selfish of the person who
No, you
dies.
can't.
It's rude. It's like wearing red to a wedding.
No, that's like too positive. Like
Yeah, but you
poles
see, it
of a
cancels
magnet.
out, and then
But that's
you're
the
left
thing.
with
It's
a
like
whole
they
dead
repel
person.
each other. So
If somebody dies, they just slowly slide out. Or they die like this.
No.
They spin it.
That's why they keep the corpses in those trays in mortuaries, because otherwise they'll be stuck together like hilarious Jenga blocks. Or like those little magnet toys.
they repel each other. They would attract people.
That's why morticians are dead inside.
Yeah, and
Ooh,
necrophilia.
yeah,
Did you
that
know
explains necrophilia.
Magnets technically repel everything that aren't magnetic.
Oh yeah,
So if you get a large enough magnet,
like Thomas.
yeah. If you get a large enough magnet, you can make things like float.
Yeah, you get,
So
you get like
somewhere
cool floating
in-
lights. and
Somewhere
stuff.
in Scandinavia, there's just a fuck off big magnet, and they just like drop strawberries into it, and they just float in midair.
That's an oddly specific thing. It's like, and they drop, and I'm like, coins. They're car keys.
Coins. or just-
But yeah, but
Swedes.
strawberries is oddly specific.
It was just the
They're
one
an oddly,
video that
they're
I
an
saw.
oddly specific
so-
group of people.
They are.
They are. But yeah, that was interesting.
That's
What
cool.
else has got shitty movie science?
You do.
Batman Begins, with that weird microwave emitter.
Oh, the
machine.
microwave emitter that vaporizes everything except people?
Yeah, it
Yeah, and
vaporizes
can
all
work at high
liquids.
speed inside a big
Inside a
metal
thing.
tube.
And also, yeah,
Right.
it only if the water isn't in any kind of like sealed container.
Yeah.
If it's flowing, it's it'll be microwave. But no, like the water in a body like that's just safe.
Where's the one where his back breaks and then he does
Oh,
push-ups
Dark
to heal
Knight
it?
Rises. He does the push-ups. A guy punches him
Yeah,
in
a
the
guy
back.
punches him in the back,
punches him.
and then he does
gets-
push-ups.
He gets like knee breaker, back broken thing, and then he gets hung on a string and his back punched, and then he can walk again.
I mean,
That's essentially what chiropractic is.
I was about to say,
Jason.
isn't that just
But that's-
chiropractic?
Yeah, but which is fake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad.
They never explicitly said his back is broken and he's paralyzed. His back was injured.
Shut up.
And then he climbs a thing with a rope tied around his
Oh, and then he
stomach,
falls and
he
he's
falls.
fine.
No, his back is better than ever now. He's healed.
his back
He
is
just
fine.
needed another
I've
punch
been-
after.
He
I've
grew
been
a
paid.
second back. He was so strong.
No, I get it. His back is a Saiyan.
There
No,
you go.
no, his back did break again, but then when he fell to the bottom, all the other prisoners piled on him and just punched his back.
Oh my god. Speaking of like fucking weird science, do you want to know something about Saiyans that I learned the other day?
Yes,
That-
please.
Okay, so
I love
do
weird
you
science.
know?
Occasionally they can turn into really big monkeys.
Yeah, it's great. Do you know why fucking Goku and Vegeta eat so much? Because they don't have digestive tracts.
What?
Saiyans have no digestive tracts, which is why they eat so much. All they have is intestine. They don't have stomachs.
What?
So
Weird.
they're constantly pooping?
That's why he's always eating.
What? Why would this be canon?
Why? Yeah.
I don't know. Japan is weird. Anyway,
This is like
moving on.
J.K. Rowling who went and like retconned like wizard pooping.
They can just.
She hasn't yet, but she will.
No, she did.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. What is the exact thing?
But why do they have bathrooms then?
No, they don't.
No, but they.
No, they
there's
do.
There's a.
They just
an
magic their
entire
poop away.
No, but there's an entire. That was all of Chamber of Secrets took place in a bathroom.
Yeah.
So why do they have that? In Order of the
Because the
Phoenix.
kids don't know the poop magic spell yet.
In Order of the Phoenix, they're in the bathroom. Like he goes there with the egg. Like.
Okay, wait.
Ah.
Have you found it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Hogwarts didn't always have bathrooms before adopting Muggle plumbing methods in the 18th century. Witches and
toilets were
wizards
gay.
simply relieved themselves wherever they stood and vanished the evidence. This is a thing that she actually said this year,
Holy
back in January.
fuck.
This is a thing she actually
Wizards are
wrote.
dirty people.
Somebody control her.
Why does she?
Just take her things
Why
away.
does
so
she
can-
not
could
have
someone
a publicist?
Could someone explain to me what she hopes to gain
from revealing this knowledge.
Then, like, until the
It's world
18th
building, Dion,
century,
you wouldn't
until the
understand it.
18th century, wizards would just shit on the floor, and then magic.
It's world.
They wouldn't-
Step aside, George R.R. Martin. There's a new world building
They
master.
wouldn't
in
magic
town.
it out of, say, just from like their large intestine or anything.
Yeah,
like
wait till
would,
they actually take a shit.
Yeah, they would actually just like.
I also love
shit
that they waited
themselves.
to the 18th century. You know, the golden age of human plumbing.
Yeah.
Dysentery.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the thing. They magic the fucking shit away, but everyone still dies of cholera because, like, it gets into the grout in the ground. Like,
Good job, J.K. Rowling.
Wait. So do they magically wipe their asses as well?
Yeah,
Like, does the
All
spell?
evidence of it just goes.
yeah, but
No,
then
no, but
why
like,
don't they just
does
do
it
it in
only
their
magic
intestines?
away
Just
the
do
shit
it
on the
in
floor?
the intestine.
Like,
No, no, no.
I need a poop.
I need a poop. Zoop. Magic spell. It's gone.
Do you just create a portal directly under your butt?
Yo,
And it
why
just
don't they just
To
disappears
an
as it
enemy's
happens?
chamber.
Why don't they? Why don't they
To an
just?
enemy's butt.
Why don't they just
In
have?
reverse.
Why don't they
Into
just
their
have
butt.
magic underwear?
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just have magic drawers? And every time you take a shit, it's like a magic nappy and just magically vanishes
Oh
to the
god,
nether
that
realm.
just reminded. Oh, like talking about the shit and the portals. Jesus, you guys just reminded me of the fucking Drawn Together movie.
I never watched it.
Oh, that's a long time.
It's a long time
Drawn
ago.
Together season 1 was great.
Yeah, season 1 was.
And then,
series.
yeah, and then
Phenomenal.
after that, like at one point, it just went.
Yeah. So in the fucking Drawn Together movie,
Where there's science.
where there is science, so they use magic. They need to
not science.
distract a giant cyclops. So they cast a portal in front of its mouth and then just shit into the other one of the portal and then shit into the ogre
Okay.
cyclops' mouth.
I feel like this is getting off topic, Marcus. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
We've been
don't
so
know what to
focused.
do with science.
We've been so
That's about
focused.
that's
We've
about
been
the poop
laser
portals.
focused, which
We've
is a
been-
science.
Science.
Lasers.
And then we're lasers on the front of that thing in the core. Double science.
Yeah.
Double
science.
science. There we go.
2 lasers.
No, it was
One
a
more,
Gatling
one,
gun.
one more
Speaking
science,
of
and you get a
las-
free, ice cream.
Speaking of lasers and stuff, how did Tony Stark create enough of a stable new element to power his thing?
With science.
With science,
And
No,
lasers.
but how did it stay stable for
Mostly
so long and so
science.
much of it?
because of science.
I would
Comic
think
book
science.
Yeah, good science.
See, because he
Okay.
balanced it on Captain America's shield, and then through the
Weirdly-
power of hope.
Weirdly, that part actually works.
Exactly.
Well, particles, but not the hope part.
But the hope in Captain America's prototype shield
Yeah.
like mixes in
Okay, so it was
and
thanks to Steve
stabilizes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was.
Where's our son?
I don't know.
should be behind there. I think I packed him away. When I,
Amber Alert! He's gone.
I think I had him here when the
Amber
trumpeter.
Alert.
I packed him away when the trumpeter came.
Could
Yeah,
have.
'cause you
Banana
can't-
boy!
What if the trumpeter started?
No, you can't trust trumpeters near boys. I mean, they're like.
Finish the joke.
French
French the joke.
hornists.
Yeah, Marcus, what are you gonna say?
They're
Yeah.
like blowing into small holes.
Do you know how sex works?
We shouldn't have had him finish the joke.
You really, it's worse than I thought. On every level.
Where's he gonna
It's
go
not a
with
good
this?
joke. It's really dirty and makes me feel bad.
I don't know what it means. Well, that's movie
I
science.
got in a home run with
That
every
is-
joke.
Well, Marcus won movie science.
okay.
You could at least get the occasional bunt.
Yeah.
Please.
We've been the CineBeards. You heard Dion's recommendation in the past, which is also the future.
Yes.
My
days of
recommendation
More
Future
is
movie
past.
science.
my recommendation is absolutely Deeply Sea.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you up on that.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely gonna rewatch that.
And then, even though it's got shitty movie science, but the movie is fucking fantastic, just watch Sunshine again, please.
It
Who's
is
in that?
pretty good.
It's a Danny Boyle film.